Hi guys, I'm Arcaneth and this is the second episode of the series How to Avoid Getting Ganked. Today I will speak about how to position in the lane to avoid dying to ganks as a mid laner. First of all, I suggest you guys to check out my previous episode to understand which are the most used pathings that the enemy jungler could take and how to understand where the enemy jungler started. Every reasoning given in this episode will be based on knowing where the enemy jungler started and based on the assumption that we either have no jungler or a 24/7 farming jungler. In the first case that we will analyze, the enemy jungler is starting from red buff on blue side, and he will either make a full clear or he will use one of the two possible ganking routes. In any case, we know that from around minute 2 and 40 seconds to minute 4, the enemy jungler is likely to gank from the mid-top river side, and because of that, we need to place a ward a bit earlier and hug the opposite side of the lane. Note that, first of all, hugging this side means being exposed to a gank from the enemy support, so we will have to check his position very often. And secondly, even if we are hugging the right side of the river but we are pushed to the enemy tower, we will be able to freely escape from the mid laner and the jungler, but we might still be in a bad spot if our bot lane is pushed in, giving the roam initiation to the enemy bot lane, which will be able to either make us flash or kill us when we try to reach our jungle. Remember also that we can hug different spots of the lane based on which champion is the enemy jungler, or if we are running Ghost. For example, a level 4 Zac might be able to gank us even if we are hugging the right side of the lane. A level 4 Shyvana or a level 4 Master Yi might have more troubles instead, especially if we use Ghost to escape. If we are against a good heavy ganking jungler and we are afraid of his ganks, a good idea could be to avoid pushing the lane and hugging the closest spot to our tower. As you can see in this clip, I try to avoid pushing the lane since I know I'm against a Lee Sin. Veigar instead pushes the lane even if he knows he's against a Maokai, and even if I end up missing my charm, he's so pushed that even flashing wasn't enough to save him. If the enemy jungler took instead the farm heavy route, we won't be able to see him during all the clear time, so we will presume he has taken one of the two ganking routes, we will place a ward in the river and play around it. The second case scenario is when the enemy jungler starts from blue buff, and in this case we will have to pay a bit more attention, because he might be using route B to gank us at level 3 from mid-top riverside, so we might want to hug a bit mid-bot riverside, at least until we get to level 3. At the same time though, the enemy jungler might be using route A, and could be ganking us from mid-bot riverside. So if we really want to play 100% safe, my suggestion is to let the enemy laner push us into the tower. Letting the enemy laner push us into the tower though will give him control over mid lane, which isn't an ideal situation. If you prefer having more control over mid lane, my suggestion, since route B isn't a very common one and is more like a cheese strategy and will lose you not many games, is to presume that the enemy jungler is going for route A and will gank you from mid-bot riverside. In this case, we want to ward mid-bot river brush as soon as we reach level 3, and we want to hug the opposite side of the river at least until minute 4. Keep in mind that the enemy top laner might be ganking us if he has priority over top lane, so I would avoid staying too pushed in this case. If the enemy jungler took instead the farm heavy route, the best choice is to presume he took a ganking route, place a ward in the river and play around that. Note that some champions such as Nocturne, Master Yi and Graves, due to their low crowd control kit, are more likely to be heavy farmers, at least until level 6. So you can play around that and play aggressive, as long as you don't overextend in the lane. This is all for this episode. I hope these suggestions will be useful for your games. Press the like button if you enjoyed the video and don't forget to follow me on social media. Thanks again for watching and see you for next episode.